Hello dear students, myself Vijay Kumar Pandey. Welcome you all to DSS online class. Today I am going to explain the chapter The Sound of Music Part 2nd. The title of the chapter is The Shahnaiya Bismillah Khan. Today I will explain you the chapter line by line. Already we have discussed summary and theme in previous video. Today I will explain you the chapter. Listen it carefully. Emperor Aurangzeb banned the playing of a musical instrument called pungi in the royal residence, for it had a shrill, unpleasant sound. When the Mughals ruled India, before the Britishers came, there was a very famous Mughal ruler named Aurangzeb. He did not allow the pungi be played in his royal residence because he felt that it had a very unpleasant sound. Aurangzeb did not allow to play the musical instrument pungi. According to him, it has very sharp, unpleasant sound. Pungi became the generic name for reeded noise makers. Now, pungi, that musical instrument which is made with reeds like we have flutes, they all are classified as pungi. Now pungi is broad term for any type of instrument which uses wind to produce sound. Few had thought it would one day be revived. Very few people had thought that one day this musical instrument pungi, it will be revived and it will be at very broad level. Here, a barber of a family of professional musicians who had access to the royal place decided to improve the tonal quality of the pungi. Tonal quality means sound. As the pungi had an unpleasant sound, there was a barber. Barber means nai, who belonged to a family of professional musicians, and he wanted to play the pungi, but he knew that the sound produced by pungi was unpleasant, and so he decided to improve the sound. He wanted to make the sound of that instrument pungi pleasant. So he wanted to do something. He wanted to improvise it. He chose a pipe with a natural hollow stem that was longer and broader than the pungi, and made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. The barber took a pipe which was a hollow stem. Hollow stem, understand, empty from inside. It was longer and broader than the pungi. He made 7 holes on the body of the pipe. It is something like this. It is pipe which is hollow from inside and has holes on it. When he played on it, closing and opening some of these holes, soft and melodious sounds were produced. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. The sound of that improvised pungi, it was quite different from the traditional pungi. Now it was a pipe, and the sound of that pipe was very pleasant. Many people were impressed. He played the instrument before royalty and everyone was impressed. Means the barber played this instrument in the royal court. Everyone liked the sound produced by it. The instrument, so different from the pungi, had to be given a new name. Now that instrument, it was different from that pungi, so it was given a different name. The royal court thought that this instrument was different from the pungi and it should have a different name also. As the story goes, since it was first played in the Shah's chambers and was played by a nai barber, the person who cuts hair, the instrument was named the Shehnai. Now there is a story behind the name given to Shehnai. This instrument was played for the first time in the royal residency of the Shah. Shah was a name given to king. That time, Shah was the title it was given to the king. Mughal called the kings as Shah. At the Nai, that is the Indian term used for a barber, had played it for the first time. They called it Shehnai. I hope you are understanding it. That this musical instrument was firstly played in Shah residency and played by a barber Nai, so it was given the name Shehnai. So the first part is Shah, which stands for Shah, and the second part Nai, that is a barber. So this instrument was named as Shehnai. The sound of the Shehnai began to be considered auspicious. Now, see, auspicious means promising to bring good fortune. That is symbol of good fortune. The sound which was produced by Shehnai was considered to be a good omen. Means Shehnai was now played at the occasion of something fortunate. And for this reason, it is still played in temples and is an indispensable component of any North Indian wedding. Now, this Shehnai, it became very important part of playing instruments. Now you can hear Shehnai being played at many temples and at wedding also. In the past, the Shehnai was part of the Naubat or the traditional ensemble of the 9 instruments found at royal courts. The Shehnai was a part of the Naubat. Naubat is an Urdu word and it means traditional ensemble. That means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. Naubat is a Urdu word and it means traditional ensemble. That means a traditional group of 9 musical instruments. Now Shehnai was part of that Naubat. These 9 musical instruments were played at the royal court and Shehnai was also a part of Naubat. Now, till recently, it was used only in temples and weddings. The credit for bringing this instrument onto the classical stage goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan. The Shehnai was played at the king's court, in temples and at weddings. It was used on stage in performance and the credit for that goes to Ustad Bismillah Khan, who was a legendary Shehnai player and people wanted to hear him play the Shehnai. As a 5 years old, Bismillah Khan played Gilli Danda near a pond in the ancient state of Dumrao in Bihar. Now here writer is going to describe about his childhood and about his native place. Since he belonged from Dumrao, when Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, he lived in an old state named Dumrao. In present day Bihar state, he used to play Gilli Danda, an old sport quite similar to cricket. Earlier, children used to play Gilli Danda, that is today improvised version, you can say it is cricket. He would regularly go to the nearby Bihariji temple to sing the Bhojpuri Chaita, at the end of which he would earn a big laddu weighing 1.25 kg, a prize given by the local Maharaja. Laddu, a kind of sweet dish, you know. Also, he would go to the nearby Bihariji temple. Although Bismillah Khan was a Muslim, he would go to the temple and he would sing this song, Chaita, in Bhojpuri language. Bhojpuri language, its dialect, its regional language of especially UP and Bihar. When he would finish reciting the song, he would get a big laddu as reward and the weight of that laddu was 1.25 kg. This was a prize given to Bismillah Khan by local Maharaja for singing the Chaita. Now you can understand here a secular thought of Bismillah Khan, that a Muslim boy, he used to sing the song in temple and he was awarded Laddu. This is the beauty of Indian democracy. Now, next, this happened 80 years ago, and the little boy had traveled far to earn the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. Now, writer is here saying that this incident occurred when Bismillah Khan was 5 years old, that he would get this laddu as a reward. And after 8 years, Bismillah Khan earned the highest civilian award in India, the Bharat Ratna. So this is the distance that he had traveled in his life. At 5 years of age, he would get a laddu as a reward, and at 80, he achieved the highest civilian award in India, that is called Bharat Ratna. Now writer is going to focus on his date of birth. Born on 21st March 1916, Bismillah belonged to a well-known family of musicians from Bihar. Bismillah Khan was born on 21st March 1916 in a family of musicians in Bihar. His grandfather, Rasul Baksh Khan, was the Shahnai Nawaz of the Bhojpur King's court. His father, Paigambar Baksh, and other paternal ancestors were also great Shahnai players. The lineage on his father's side was full of great Shahnai players. You can say that in his family, his ancestors were also Shahnai players. We can say that Bismillah Khan acquired the skill of playing the Shahnai from his ancestors. His grandfather was a great Shahnai player. He played the Shahnai in the court of the Bhojpur king. His father and all paternal ancestors were also great Shahnai players. So we can say that this talent was in his blood. Next paragraph. The young boy took to music early in life, means from very beginning only. He started learning music at the early age. At the age of 3, when his mother took him to his maternal uncle's house in Banaras, Bismillah was fascinated watching his uncles practice the Shahnai. Bismillah Khan was just 3 years old. His mother took him to her parents' house, to his maternal uncle's. They lived in Banaras, that is called today Banarasi. And when Bismillah Khan saw his maternal uncles play the Shahnai, he was attracted. Fascinated means attracted. He was attracted towards it, and he also wanted to learn playing it. I hope you all are understanding it. If you have any problem, kindly text me after video. Soon Bismillah started accompanying his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple of Banaras, where Baksh was employed to play the Shahnai. Bismillah Khan started going with his uncle Ali Baksh to the Vishnu temple in Banaras. Ali Baksh was on duty to play the Shahnai at the Vishnu temple of Banaras. Here we can see that Bismillah Khan and his ancestors, being Muslim, they were how much given respect. They were called for their skill in Hindu temples. Ali Baksh would play the Shahnai and Bismillah would sit captivated for hours on end. Captivated here again, fascinated, means attracted. When Bismillah Khan saw his uncle Ali Baksh play the Shahnai, he would get attracted towards it, that he would sit there for hours listening to him play the Shahnai. Slowly he started getting lessons in playing the instrument and would sit practicing throughout the day. Slowly Bismillah Khan also started learning playing the Shehnai and he would practice throughout the day. He never got tired. He was so fascinated by the Shehnai that he was not getting tired in practice. For years to come, the temple of Balaji and Mangala Maya and the banks of the Ganga became the young apprentice's favorite haunts where he could practice in solitude. Apprentice means trainee, the person who takes training of anything, and haunts means place you like to come, where you like to visit many times, and solitude means being alone, single. Many years Ustad Bismillah Khan remained in Banaras. He would visit the temple of Balaji, temple of Mangala Maya, and would remain on the bank of river Ganga, where he would practice playing the Shehnai all by himself. Here we can say that how much he was fascinated by the Shehnai as well as river Ganga. The flowing waters of the Ganga inspired him to improvise and invent ragas that were earlier considered to be beyond the range of the Shehnai. Here we come to know about the talent of Ustad Bismillah Khan. He was so inspired and motivated by the river Ganga. It inspired him to improve his performances, and he also invented many ragas that were considered impossible to be produced by a Shehnai. Ustad Bismillah Khan worked hard and invented different sounds with the Shehnai. Today we will stop here only. If you have any problem, kindly ask me in next live class. Next video will be based on the remaining paragraphs. Thanks.